live stream, and let's make sure everything's okay. Still behind there. It's okay. I got myself there. It's been an extra bad allergy day. It's hot too. It says it's 99, and they're on the Fort Worth temperature outside. Well, it wouldn't do much good. The sun would be shining on my outdoor thermometer. Anyway, it felt hotter than that. But I wasn't staying out there, but I was going out in the garage and washing clothes. And this morning, or earlier this afternoon, I guess. I did get up. I think I've been kind of going back and forth, getting up around noon for a couple of days. And yesterday, I think I got up at 10:30, a little better instead of worse, so that's good. Anyway, gonna try to get back. It's gone from bad to worse with this addonbrowser.com malware trying to get in my computers. And I always knew this as a possibility, but I didn't. I thought Firefox was really good about screening their add-ons, making sure there's not anything malicious about the makers or the authors or their websites, but evidently not. I'm going to say evidently not, and it's really weird because this whole thing about quantum Firefox that just came out a few months ago was supposed to make all the add-ons safer and all that stuff, and this is the first time I've ever had any trouble, ever. I started with Firefox when it first came out. I was using Mozilla Netscape Navigator, which is what Firefox is a fork of. So, actually been using Firefox before it was Firefox. So, and I always, I liked Internet Explorer better than Netscape Navigator. Well, it was kind of back and forth, but it was really, all about functionality. Really, it always has been for me with browsers. Well, that and, of course, safety and stuff like that, and maybe not being tracked everywhere you go all the time, But anyway, that's why we use add-ons. But and for safety, and of course the addonbrowser.com makes an add-on called Safe Web with VirusTotal, and it's actually not a VirusTotal, or it's not Pt7, which is VirusTotal's link scanner. It is. I think they actually, looking in their code, I think they linked to it and used their scanner. But if you look at their description, you can tell it's kind of tells you in a tricky way, it kind of that it's not Pt7. And I remember noticing that it's when I went back and looked at their their reviews on Firefox's page on them, they had 2 stars, and I know when I put it on there, it was at the very least 3 stars because I wouldn't even installed it. And anyway, about 3 good reviews, the oldest reviews, and then after that, all of them were saying this is malware. This leads to malware. I got pop-ups. I got fake Firefox updates, is what I got. And I never saw a fake Firefox update, but I finally remember because it happened again. When your browser's add-ons update, they'll open a tab saying thank you for updating. So your add-on has been updated. It tells you the name of it and where. Well, what would happen with this addonbrowser.com page would just open up, and then back in the past, I don't even know if it's the same URL because I remember the same type of thing happening and trying to figure out where it was coming from and couldn't figure it out. Maybe I just missed that was because I did it this time. I actually went and found on accident really how to look at the code, and that's where I finally saw the address that to be able to connect this adware site. Advertising site, which I figured out, now that what it's trying to get you to download is a lot of it or all of it is malware. The fake Firefox update was another tab that would automatically open up, and that didn't happen in the past, but it happened recently. But in the past, what really clued me into something was wrong, and it happened again on Mom's machine, was it opened up just like a seemingly random Amazon page, and I remember looking into that. And it looked like it really was an Amazon page, not a fake Amazon page. But So that's even more scary. Well, just as scary either way, because if they're if they've got installed Trojan keyloggers or monitoring your desktop like I mean, remote desktop's a wonderful thing. I use it all the time, but it can't be used for nefarious purposes. So if they install a remote desktop server on your system and they're watching you, of course they don't have time to watch everybody, but so keyloggers and things that they could put in a database and have it. Even I mean, there's programs that could watch data and then pop up to whoever's the real person and say, here's something you might want to see. I mean, security software for companies have had stuff like that for a very long time. So, bad actors, as some people like to say. Hackers. I usually do just say hackers, but one of my favorite websites is hackaday.com, and it's not about nefarious hacking. It's about making and funny thing about when I was growing up, if you said I just hacked it together, it literally meant you took one thing, you hacked it up with a hacksaw, you cut it up with a hacksaw, and put it together with some other parts, and you made a new thing, a physical thing out of it. Well, then in the 80s, the kids started calling their breaking into computers hacking, which is fine and dandy. It's just that now they've taken over the whole word. But on Hackaday, you'll see discussions. Sometimes I don't read a lot of comments because sometimes it's ridiculous. But sometimes you'll see, I've even seen before someone kind of explaining that in a different way than the way I say it. But anyway, bad hackers and good they call them black hat and white hat and stuff like that. But when I'm talking about hackers right now, I'm talking about bad bad actors, and not the ones that are in the movies and the TV. So anyway, I'm looking through my notes. Before I get back to trying to actually do something, I want to go through it. I thought I'd do it on the video. Okay, so Mom's now start out on this machine, the Lenovo i5. I didn't even think about that I might have put that add-on on Mom's brand new machine, but I had. And well, the thing is, the Firefox Sync is what really has ended up giving me the big headache, because every machine that's synced, your add-ons are synced, it got that add-on added automatically. Of course, that's generally what you want, but not when something's bad, And so same thing happened with Mom's. I imagine I put it on her new machine as I was setting up Fedora 27. And then the Fidel 1525 laptop, I've got it sitting right over there now because I let it run scanning the whole thing for viruses last night. And because I didn't say anything to her. I was just busy working on this. Didn't really want to talk about it. I was aggravated. And she told me, oh, so my computer did something. The one I'm using, did something really weird. And she started telling me, holy crap, it's that add-on. And so luckily, I've always told her, if something opens up and tells you to click on it, don't click on it, ever. It says it's an update, don't do it. And so what she did was close the browser, shut down the machine. And then it's like 3 days later when she finally remembered to tell me. So she didn't install any, or didn't give it a chance to install anything. Usually I have actually in years past clicked on something, or I think I might even went to, unknowingly, of course, you hit a drive-by virus on a page and something actually jumped up, tried to install itself, and then failed because it only worked on Windows machines. But nowadays, there's so much more of a likelihood that it could install, especially if it's the whole thing with that fake Firefox update is it was not a program to install on a computer, but a browser add-on that would, if you clicked it, you'd be installing not an update for Firefox, but a browser add-on. Now, that's where they're getting smart and dangerous, because any operating system, it's easy for them to make, when they make add-ons, I don't know exactly what they have to do in the code, but they could work on, Linux, Windows, Mac, even mobile, So systems like Android and iPhone and all that. There's some differences. I mean, I'm not a coder, so I don't know the exact things, but I do know the principles, the basic idea, So if that add-on's on your browser, then it can do a lot of bad work. It could execute remote applications that could be sending out what you're doing on your desktop, what you're tapping on your keyboard, or it could, if necessary, maybe install some things on your machine or install more add-ons, without you knowing it. And with Trojans and all those sort of things on Windows, they could hide, and you wouldn't even know they're on your machine. It's very hard to find them. You could hide in thousands of places. And one of the worst is the one that can be in the master boot record of your hard drive, and even if you reformat your machine and put a new Windows system on it, it gets right back on there because it's small enough. It's just like a Trojan virus downloader. It downloads. It's just a kind of a control app. Those have been out for years. So there's just so many different ways they can get you once something like that gets on your machine. Didn't even get to get a drink. So. That's why I'm so aggravated and so worried about it all. So turns out that through Firefox Sync, it was on Mom's new machine, the Dell 1525 that I had set up with her account on it for her to use, and I also had my own account on there too. What I did last night, I scanned her home directory. And that's what I'm holding here this whole time, thinking I was going to use it. This note, so it had, and I set it to this, the most thorough scan I could. I was using Clam AV. Actually, I was using, this was Debian 8, and I remember when I set it up, I tried to install Clam, KL, the GUI. Clam AV is CLAMAV, and KLAMAV is the GUI that I like the best to use in Fedora. But in Debian, it wasn't even available, so there was one called ClamTK, CLAMTK. And it's set up different, but it works, well. And so I used that, and but the wording they used and everything was different. It took me a while to go, what? Anyway, it was actually the language they used was like Windows virus scanners. They had checkboxes to scan for pups, capital P-U-P. And I always remember them being potentially unwanted programs, but it said something else in there, and I can't even remember what it said. But anyway, I realized after I thought about it, okay, yeah, I do want that. Because sometimes scanning for pups can be a pain in the Windows virus scanning apps because it just pops up every little thing, like, say, VNC desktop apps, and TeamViewer or whatever maybe might pop up as a pup. But it didn't do that. Well, I did have a VNC on that machine. So anyway, the results, it did, okay, I scanned her home directory, and it came up with 52 things that are, could be problems. And I ended up deleting about 10 of them that were Trojans, Trojan this, Trojan that. They were in the browser cache. So guess where they came from? And that machine's only been set up for her for about 2 months. So that's all recent. That's not any old stuff. And I'm not sure how often Firefox deletes its cache. Maybe not be all that often, but I mean, I was thinking that the default for Firefox is like 100 megabytes, and once it gets full up to 100 megabytes of cache, which could happen in a couple of hours, would delete it. But I don't know. And I didn't. When you see those in a virus scan, you don't want to go opening those files up or messing around with them trying to find out where they came from, unless you've got like a sandbox environment and you really know what you're doing. You're a virus researcher, So I'm trying to get rid of them, not play with them, and get them even worse. Get those things. They were actually just in cache and hadn't done anything, I don't believe, because they weren't spread out into any other places in my system. I did see 2 files that were PDF files. For years, I guess they're still easy to break. Have payloads put in them. There were old files of mine. There's one folder that was Dawn's files of some things that I don't remember why I had them on her machine, but in her folders, they really just got transferred when I copied all her files from her machine to this one, so she'd have all her files to be able to work. And there's 2 old PDFs, and they had some Trojan something on them. I forgot what kind it said. Some of them will say Trojan downloader. They're that's all they do is download more malware, and so I deleted those two. Just they didn't need to be on there. If they even look like, and they were listed as pups, and I think, yeah, all of them were listed as pups. None of them were listed just straight out. This is a virus. So, but that's the thing. The way that particular ClamTK worked, it seemed to me that that's the only way you were going to find anything like that. The way the wording was in the program, it's different and makes more sense to me in the clam AV. But anyway, that was yesterday when I did all that and making any videos while I was doing that. And last 2 days was just one thing after another. I thought let's see. I'm going to read this from Oh, yeah, I want to once I'm sure that thing is clean, I really want to make me a list of all the apps on there. It's got a lot of cool apps that I found. And I don't really have any apps install list for Debian, and I want to make me one because I want to put domain 9 on that one, reformat it anyway, even if I think it's clean. I'm just trying to decide, even though I've scanned it, do I really feel like it's safe enough for her to use? Because originally when I first found it, the first night, I said, well, it hasn't spread out through my system, so as long as you just only use your passwords that are saved, just only go to the sites where your passwords are saved, they're encrypted. So I'm assuming that they couldn't crack those very easily. Well, the first night, she ended up typing 2 things in there that were very, would have been really bad for her if they had been seen by hackers. So I said, well, I better get. I brought it in here, and I thought I got to at least scan it and make sure see. And also, I changed her password on the site that she logged into with her typing in the password. And I did that from the only thing I had left to do that with was and do it under easily do it. I could have done it on this laptop, I guess, but I did it on her tablet. I got her a tablet this last Christmas, 10-inch tablet. It's a cool tablet. It's an 8-core tablet with 4 gig of RAM. That's way more than my machine I'm using right now. It doesn't seem, because I have 8 cores and 8 core. Her machine I built for her is 8 cores with 8 gig of RAM. Now that's a powerhouse machine. The tablet doesn't seem like that. Those little tablet processors. It's a MediaTek processor. It's evidently the big going tablet processor right now. As a matter of fact, it's the first 8-core. From what I read, it's the first 8-core mobile processor. They call them mobile processors when they go in phones and tablets. That has come out. So anyway, and it was only $100. It was marked on sale. So right, Christmas time. So no, I don't like the Android operating system. That's the main. Even though it's based on Linux and the underlying part of it is perfect, it's fine. I understand all that, but the way everything works, it just sucks. I hate it. So I don't use it very much at all. Let's see. Yeah, make an apps list, and that's which one was it? Yeah, that's it. Well, I don't know. That system has some updates, but yeah, and I think. I keep on. I kept thinking maybe Oh, I thought I might even scan my Lenovo Wi-Fi with. Try it to scan it with Bitdefender. What I scanned. What did I scan with that? Remember, it took a long time. Oh, I scanned my backup drive, and it's an NTFS file system, so I know it could mount it and scan it. Now I don't know that it can. I noticed that it did mount. Let's see. What did I have it in? Oh, I had it in this this Dell 6000 laptop, the one that's clean. That's the only one I would want to boot. When I booted it to my USB, I was booting it off of my easy-to-boot SD card and the USB adapter. I wanted my scanning platform to be clean, so that there wouldn't be any viruses that could interfere with my scan and make it not come out correct, So I noticed that it had mounted everything. It had mounted the drives, but that's Debian, so it doesn't have an LVM. I don't think that any of the virus scanners I have can mount an LVM. The only thing that I know of that can mount an LVM that of stuff that I have is Fedora. It'll automatically mount LVMs. But the only virus scanner choice for that would to use would be ClamAV, which I've already done. Okay, I would like to have a second opinion. Okay, so I still going back and forth. I was thinking I'd make it before I reformat my Fedora, my Lenovo i5, make an apps list of it. But then I think, well, what if there is something they got on there that's tricky enough to get in my apps list? But the thing is, there's not anything bad in the repos. So, they really take good care of the Fedora repos and the domain repositories. So you don't have to. I've heard of a report once or twice, but they took care of it fast. But there hasn't been anything going on with bad, files being in the repos. So I thought, well, I can make an apps list, and well, even if there's something that in your apps list that's not in the repos, then it just skips it. Well, because I put in my install script skip broken, so otherwise it'll just hang out. So anyway, that's one of the things I'm considering. There's so much to trying to make sure you get rid of this, and even when you reformat, you got to make sure, like all your personal files, you got to clean them up before you can put them back on your machines. Otherwise you don't want to lose all your personal files. And this is even just when I don't think. Well, the thing is, when you think you're not infected, you usually are. With Windows, you almost always are. I don't care if you think you're clean. You usually later find something. If you keep, like I've said before, used to my rule of thumb was use at least 3 virus scanners. Now, the last time I got hit, I did 10 on one machine before I ever got it to come up completely clean on a scan. Different ones, not the same scanner. Well, of course, it'll give you the same result each time. Rescue systems. Okay, so and need to back up on, make sure I get everything backed up. Of course, I'm actually making videos on this machine, the Lenovo i5. Normally, I wouldn't do that at all, but it's all I have that I can even do this with. And so one file's automatically uploaded into YouTube, and the other one I'm saving on my machine. And I have already scanned it before, and there was nothing outside of the browser cache and stuff that was bad. So this is a case where I have if I knew for sure the machine was infected, I wouldn't even be doing what I'm doing. I wouldn't be making any new files or using it for anything. But because just the fact that it's, even though my passwords are saved in the machine and encrypted, I'd still be worried, because there are some things that can break encryption, give it enough time, run it long enough, Fedora 28, well, I tried a whole day to use that one other old laptop to download it and burn it, and I didn't think about it until I got going. I didn't have enough space. Well, the thing is, I was using my SD card. It does have enough space to download, like 1.8 gigabytes, how big that file is. It would have had enough space to do that, but I was using it already to do a virus scan of my backup drive, and it lasted like 16 hours. So I tried to do it on that other old laptop with my 2 gigabyte USB sticks, and then I realized, I've got no place to put that file. And then I saw that the hard drive the old hard drive was still in it, and I had formatted it to FAT32. So I tried once, and the file was corrupt. It downloaded just fine, but it was corrupt. And I remembered, okay, that's what's wrong with that drive. And I had tried to install operating system on it several times, and they always broke. Never would boot. So then I tried putting FAT32 operating file system on it and using it as a backup drive, and it would just let you write files, and then they'd be corrupt. And so I even tried a second time, and then the thing locked up. So I think it might have been because of that drive, because I remember it used to run just fine without a drive in it, just booting it to a USB. Yeah, so download Fedora 28. Finally hit me. Okay, what do I have that's clean that I could do that on? I can't do it on the domain system over here on this Dell 6000 because I can't install Fedora Media Writer, and you got to have that now to burn your USB stick, or not burn it, but write it. And so then I realized, okay, my server, it's Fedora, and I should be able to do it on there, even though it's only a single core. It's a 2.4 or 5 gigahertz, but it's a single core. So, but it should be able to do that. We need to do any web surfing is the thing it can't do very well. So, I want to delete my Firefox sync data. So I haven't decided if I can. At the very least, I'm going to turn off. I may just turn off all the sync, period, because as convenient as that is, when you get hit, it is the worst thing ever. So having all that stuff automatically synced to every other machine that you got sync turned on. I already quit using sync for bookmarks years ago because I lost all my bookmarks once, and my bookmarks are how I work, how I find things again. So I tried to make an Avast virus scanning rescue disk on my old Fedora 14 system inside of Windows XP because you had to have Windows to do that with Avast, and it failed. And I remembered it had failed the last time or two I tried it on there. I didn't want to try it on this one because it might be, it might be making a corrupt virus scanner. This one would at least not. Well, if I made a video while I was doing it. It took all day to figure out that it wasn't going to work. Yeah, and I want to report the malware. I keep saying that, and I still haven't gotten to the point where I can do that. I was just trying to get the machines fixed first. Now I have 3 instead of 2. Yeah, that's 3. 3 instead of 2. I have to be reformatted. So I'm going to do mine first because I can't really work without my machine. It's just got me all hung up with that, with it not being in full function. So yeah, to mitigate a malware, even almost infected, or that might have been or probably been, it's still the biggest pain in the world. Let's see. Yeah, report it to Firefox. I reported those bad pages to Google on Mom's machine when they popped up on there because they were already open, so I thought, okay, let's do that. Well, mine, I didn't think about it at the time. And, yeah, I'm going to think I'll go ahead. I don't know. If I don't need it, I won't, but I've been thinking I'll install OBS Studio so that I can do desktop videos. My username didn't have any. I didn't do Firefox sync. I did that the other day after this machine, Lenovo i5, turned up with all this stuff. I went and made me a username on Mom's brand machine, thinking it was clean. And well, my username doesn't have that. I've never had that add-on on it. I didn't have anything but AdBlock Plus on there, and I didn't sync it. Then when I happened to get in Mom's username and saw that it had it, then I thought, well, if it depends on how proliferant this thing is, whether I'm really infected and just can't tell it, if it could have got through the whole system. And let's see, no, I haven't scanned it. I didn't see any point in spending days scanning them if I'm just going to reformat them. That's the thing. I did scan this one. I went in and scanned the laptop because I was worried about, well, maybe I should scan it, and if it's clean enough, then I can give it back to Mom to use, because I may not give it back to her to use at all. Okay. I scanned the USB backup drive once. I'm going to do it again once I'm done, because I have to, it's the only thing I got to back up to. Oh, and speaking of that, for 2 days, I thought it was broke. The file system was broke. It's happened before, the NTFS file system. If you, one time I turned off the power strip that was on. I turned it off while it was plugged in and being accessed. Didn't think about it. Not being like I wasn't making any copies. It was just being accessed. And I don't know, a couple other times, it was basically what happens is, especially with NTFS file systems, if they're being written to, even just like an update of, they're always being talking back and forth to the machine, even if you're not making copies, backups and stuff. And so 3 times I think it broke, but all you have to do is run, I forgot the exact commands, but scan disk, fix disk, and to fix it. But you could have a Windows machine to do that. And I was like, how am I going to? I had decided I was going to use Hiren's boot CD on the clean laptop, which has Mini XP rescue system on it. And I was going to try to do it that way. But then I was the cable's been just kind of hanging here and hanging there. and I was tangled up, and I was rerouting it, and all of a sudden I just didn't yank on it or nothing, and it just fell out. It's got a very short proprietary USB. I don't believe it'll fit anything but those drives. It looks different. It's kind of like a double plug. I guess it carries power and data, is why it's doubled up like that. But I mean, all USBs carry power and data, all of them, and they look normal. Anyway, it's really short. The metal doesn't go very far into the drive, so it's easy to come out. Normally, I don't move that cable. It stays plugged into my level Wi-Fi, and like I said, well, when I do move it, I only unplug it from one machine and plug it into the other. Well, it had somehow gotten just yanked halfway out. It was still in there, so when you look at it, it looks fine, because I looked at it 1,000 times looking to see if the blue light was on and stuff. But of course, the first thing you should always check your cables. And I didn't think of that. Too many things going around my head. So luckily, though, I didn't have to. It wasn't broke. And the reason I thought it might be broke is because I had it plugged into Mom's machine. I had been backing stuff up from there, and I went to shut the machine down, and Crusader, my favorite file manager, which is what I would be using to copy files, I was closed, but it was still running. And so I finally had to not just force shut down, but kill it, And I thought, well, that's what did it. It was talking to that drive, and it broke the drive. But it wasn't. It was just the cable coincidentally came, out enough. It wasn't making a connection up there at the other end. And so check your cables, Don. Okay. So I may install OBS Studio on that on my username. Won't be any worse than using it from here on this machine, so that I can continue to make my videos while I'm reformatting my machine. That's the thing. Bad add-on, Mom's AS, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I reported it. Okay, so my first thing I want to do, I don't know. I'm going through all this for my own benefit to try to get my head back around all this. But I thought it'd be good to share it all. Well, another thing is these videos are for me, maybe more than anybody else, since I don't get very many views. I use them. I go back through them. And, I don't watch the whole thing, but I go back through them and skip through them, and it helps me remember what I'm doing and what to do next and stuff like that. So, okay. I was trying to look at my preview, and I was like, what I'd done is I just paused it. And when you do that, then you've got to reload the page to get back up to where you are now. It just takes back up from where you paused it. I mean, you got no choice. It's either play or pause. You can't do any different than that. So you either let it play, and if I let it play all the time, then it's using bandwidth for no good reason, really. I mean, well, it's kind of helpful, but I can't let the audio play. It drives me nuts. Hearing myself on a delay. But anyway, usually I don't sit here forever just talking about everything. I just got to get with it. But my original plan was to first thing I was going to do is get on the laptop and try to fix my drive. Well, my drive's okay. So good for that. Okay, I'm going to go to my desktop. Now, I just remembered one thing I want to do. See, I'm going to have to back up because my home directory, now that I have so many videos in there that I haven't backed up, is is filling up. So I've only got, right now, I'm making a video right now, and it's 7.3 gigabytes. I had 8 gigabytes when I started just a while ago. So this is, I have to do that now. Now, the thing I already did that, scanned my backup drive completely. Took 16 hours or so. I've already scanned it completely, and so at least with one scanner, so it's relatively clean. It may be clean, And I did scan this system, this whole thing, with ClamAV. Uh, but what I've noticed every time this is the third system I've scanned that's had this add-on on it, and comes up with Trojans of all different types, and so far they have all been, except for that one that from my old files, and it could have been that those files were just easy to infect and they got infected. I don't have any way of knowing. Those two PDFs that were mine, I figure as old as they were, they would probably already had that in them. So what I was thinking of, oh, I can't even type. Should be where's the Firefox cache? Maybe I already deleted it. Yeah, I could have started, if I was going to do it. I kept thinking maybe I should do that at the very instant I got on here. Now, what I'd like to do, I had thought I would do, I started doing it on the backup drive the other day. Just delete I selected every folder and every file in the cat.cache folder, and I was going to delete them out of the backup drive because it's Mozilla, that's it, and that's what I'm looking for. Now, they don't make a Firefox folder, they make a Mozilla, which is the maker of Firefox icon cache. And anyway, on this machine, I need it to still keep running okay, and I don't know. In my idea is that you could delete every bit of that cache and it wouldn't hurt anything, because if you open the program up, I wouldn't delete it like, say, OBS doesn't have an OBS folder, so I think I could probably delete every one of these, and then I'm not sure about the folders though. I've done it before in Windows over the years, and in Linux and Windows I've actually caused trouble because the program didn't know how to make a new folder. Usually in Linux, if you delete something like this, it's cache, something that's auto-generated, you can delete it and it'll just make a new one. No problems. Okay, so it's Mozilla Firefox. Now there is some cache in there. Firefox is not running. I'm not going to open any of them. I am going to delete those. Now that'll be, quick. But when I tried to delete everything in there the other day, and I'm not deleting the folder, so I won't have it like program, acting funny, not knowing what to do or anything. I want to make sure there's not anything else to do with Firefox in there. Okay. Oh. Yeah, okay, Mozilla. I guess I should put that, right now, put it in alphabetical order. Patch, thumbnails, Thunderbird. That's a cache of my profile. Now, that it's actually the name of my profile, I believe, in the cache folder. So, I don't know, it might screw up Thunderbird. And I've been checking my emails, and what I started doing is my old Fedora 14 system. I opened it up and let it download all the emails, but I don't answer one or do anything in there or delete anything. I did delete some spam, but because I'm going to need to now that's one thing I have to do to keep from losing all my emails, and that's I got to scan this thing until I feel like it's clean. Well, what I figure I'll do is what I probably have to do is back it up to the drive, and then that's the only thing that I can scan with Windows virus scanners is the backup drive. But I don't want to, if I can get away from it, I don't want to have to spend 16 hours scanning that drive over and over. So I'm trying to think of a way to, like, if I carefully, selectively only back up certain things, like don't back up the cache again, because that was where all the crap was last time. See, it's still in here. Whatever's in here is still in here. What I can't remember, I thought I had scanned this system with ClamAV before I did a backup, and then after that, whatever my daily backups were just running as usual until I started unplug the drive and haven't plugged it back in for several days. I plugged it back in. Well, I did say that I thought it was broke, but it wasn't, because I plugged it in to this machine because it was just already running, and it mounted right up like normal. So that once I saw the plug-in cable was loose, but then it started backing up, and I was lucky backup came on automatically, and I go, holy crap. Well, I thought about it, and I went to unmount it, and the instant I started right-click and unmount that drive, it's not plugged in, but it'll show up here on your desktop, and you right-click and unmount it. Lucky Backup opened up, and so it actually kind of confused Lucky Backup, and I went ahead and it was trying to write to it, but it wasn't there anymore because I had unmounted it. So I rebooted the system, and Rookie Backup won't run if the drive's not there. But if it's there, it'll try to run. So anyway, all these other ones, I mean, what I could do is do a virus scan. Okay, let me think. So if I did a virus scan of just these well, there may be more cache and more bad things. Actually, maybe I should do, well, with the drive unplugged, it kind of works the machine though when I'm making a video. I don't want to quit making my video and if I can keep from it. I was thinking I could do a virus scan. Well, instead of, I could just do the home directory instead of the whole system, because I did do the whole system already. And the thing that would have changed would have been, well, unless of course there's malware in there that's writing stuff to other places. That's what you don't know. Well, really, the only really smart thing to do would be just to scan the whole system again. And I've been having this Crusader running all this time. See, it is using 6. Well, it was 9. Now it's 6% of CPU. So there's cache, close mail, close. Yeah. Okay, so I did some I did screenshots, but they're on, I don't even know if I ever copied them out of that Dell laptop. I think I copied them in my backup drive, but I didn't want to plug it in and have it, and it's not that big a deal, you know, just screenshots showing what the viruses were and stuff. But, and I've showed all the screenshots in here several times of everything that's been going on. So I need to close this. And I'm thinking, can I go ahead and start another whole scan, and then I can switch over to I was going to have to do that anyway, use the camera to, I don't want to connect to my server. I don't even have a remote desktop installed on it because it's a server, and I didn't want anybody to be able, you know, have any chance of them getting into it, you know, with remote desktops. I didn't install it on it. But I'll have to show what I'm doing, making my, I really hate that, but that's, it can't, I can't install any kind of, I can't install OBS on that thing. It couldn't run it. Dual core can't even run it. That's a single core. OBS needs a quad core from far. Well, I mean, I got a quad core with 4 gig of RAM, and it does okay. I have to watch out and not run too much stuff. I imagine you could get by with like 3 gig of RAM or something, but barely. Dual core, it can't handle it. I've tried it on 2 or 3 different machines, 2 for sure, laptop and a desktop. Actually, the ASRock motherboard with a dual core AMD is what I tried it on. The one that the same motherboard I put that now has an 8-core processor and 8 gig of RAM in it. It's a great motherboard because it's so versatile. So, got myself a confused mess here. All right. Okay, I'm not going to open. Last time I forgot and did that. I want to open up terminal and I'm going to ask you. I'm going to open up. Got to get my password. I don't remember. Okay. Gonna need that. Okay. When I get on the server, I'll need its password too because I don't remember it either. Okay, now I'll get on the okay, now I'm going to get root privileges and then I'm going to start ClamAV. Yeah, I don't want to back this thing up again if there's crap in it, and then I have to clean that backup drive again. All right, now KLAMAV should open me up my GUI ClamAV, but in root with root privileges, so I can scan every file on this system. and I don't have my backup drive plugged in. So, and I don't want it to ask me. You always have to do this in this just report. You always have to do that. And with the ClamAV, you need to wait. It updates. That's the quarantine folder. Nothing in there. There shouldn't be. Updates when you open it. So it should be checking for updates right now, unless it's not doing it yet. It may just be it hadn't decided to do it yet, but I'm going to go ahead and probably click it. Oh, I don't have it set. It doesn't say update VirusTotal automatically once a day. Maybe it's not saving its changes. I don't know. I'm going to click update. So yeah, don't forget to check that you're updated before you use ClamAV. It has settings in there, auto scan settings. You can set them up all you want, but it won't work. And what'll happen is you'll get a message telling you need to install some other software, and I can't. It's not in the repos. It hasn't ever been in Fedora. Actually, I've tried to get it to work on and off since Fedora 5 in 2005 when I first started working with Fedora, learning Linux in Fedora. Got to be careful. If you click on Virus Browser in this newer version, it always took a long time to load, and all it is like it's kind of like a built-in web page with virus information, and you can search for viruses, but it won't load. It'll lock it up. So in this system, let's see. Yeah, there we go. ClamAV virus database updated. Now I'm ready. Sometimes it's really quick. Sometimes it takes a while. Just report the whole system. Try to make plans, but well, everything keeps changing. So every plan I tried to make got sidetracked. Now it will calculate the time to scan, and that will take forever. I always thought it'd be nice to know, that. But if you got a good amount of files, like a few gigabytes, and well, I mean, if you got 20, 30, what do I have on this system? I don't know. Anyway, click wait for it to kind of get going, and then click, because if you click it too quick, it won't work. But click bypass, and then it'll go right to scanning pretty quickly. Otherwise, it may be an hour before it even starts scanning, so you don't want that. It'll scan this whole thing. I did it recently. I mean, I've done it every once in a while, all along, just to be safe, And I don't know, hour or two maybe. Can't remember, to tell you the truth. So let it go. Just kind of monitor. Clam scan's working it pretty. See, okay, now it went down. So that's about the most I can make this machine do. 22% is pretty much what OBS does, and then 10%. You see, it's going to look like it's going to stay between. Well, it's jumping back and forth. So no telling. I don't think I've ever tried this before. I could be trying something that I can't do on this system. Yeah, see, it's going up and down. It went anywhere from 6 to 22%. It's what it does. 24% on the clam scan. See, CLAM AV is the name of the actual program, but I'm using the KLAM AV graphic user interface. And what'll happen is if the machine's working too hard like that, especially the CPUs or the RAM's fine, the memory, then my video will start getting ruined, So I'm gonna click on my preview. I might have to stop it and do it off camera, but if it looks like it's gonna work, I'll go ahead and do it. Oh, my preview's still playing over there. All I have to do is turn on the sound. Well, everything's fine. I can always tell when it's the audio will be choppy. So if my audio's choppy and broken up, I can tell it right away that it's only going to get worse from there. So I think I'll leave that preview going for a little while longer, because that's on another machine. All it's doing is using bandwidth, and if it gets tired, I can always reboot it. So I'm going to get on. Well, first I'll get on Cam 1, and then I'm going to go over here and get on my server, and I have. What is it I'm going to do? Okay, I have this USB stick that had Debian 8 on it. I ended up reformatting it the other day, didn't I? Yeah, I reformatted it. Forgot exactly why, but yeah, I had in my head that I was going to be needing to boot to my little. This is my little SD card and the USB adapter over here, and that's really handy. The easy to boot setup I've got. I cleaned it up and got rid of the stuff that won't boot, but I have my rescue stuff and some of my Linux grub boot fixing stuff like that on there. But that's not what I need right now. And it does have some of my files, like I'll use it to, like some of those screenshots from some of that work I did. But yeah, I need Fedora Media Writer. Okay, I'm gonna get on the monitor now, and I'm gonna switch. Let's just use the pencil. Switch over to my server, and as soon as I see it coming, I can watch it on my preview to see that everything's working. I'm doing what I think I'm doing. Okay, so now I won't have a nice desktop video, but I can't help that. I just couldn't. I even wasted some time this morning trying to figure other ways around making a better video, but it turned out to be a waste of time. Okay, let me get my let me plug this USB stick in. This one that's it'll be reformatted anyway, but I'm waiting to see it up there. I guess it'll show up sooner or later. I'll plug it in over here. Okay, it's plugged in. Oh, and it mounted right up. Okay. The U3 system. Oh, that U3 system. When I renamed the, I gave it a label. Of course, that'll get changed when I gotta get rid of that. So I'm gonna pause that preview. It's making my brain not work. I keep hearing myself talk right after myself. Okay, that's that onboard Windows, some portable apps is what it is. You know, of course, they only had Windows in mind when they made this, but it's USB 2, as I named it. It's usually named, because when I was trying to do it on that, trying to do all this on that laptop, I had a big problem. I couldn't tell which one was which one to write to, and so I used Parted Magic and labeled it different. But then the darn thing locked up before I got a chance to use it. So, and at first I thought, well, I don't want to see if you use FAT32 is fine for pretty much any other live boot system. That's what you want to use. But for Fedora, it has to be set up the way that you have to use Fedora Media Writer, and it sets it up. It has, I think it puts 3 partitions on there: a small FAT32, of ext4, and then I think it's an LVM or something with the rest of it on there. But anyway, I was looking at seeing how things were working here. Okay, I'm going to close this system. Which one is this? K-Sysguard. I think that's the one. Yeah, it is the one I like. I see the search at the top. Okay, so I can't run a lot of stuff on here, but what I can do is, and this one has XFCE, so it has a built-in search. I've got it set over there too because I was so used to using that. Let's see. Wait, this is Fedora 23 actually, so I can use, instead of having to use a DNF extender, which doesn't have the features I like, I can use this Yum extender. I think starting with Fedora 24, they don't even give you a Yum extender to install anymore, I think. So I've been having to use DNF, and boy, the one they got now, the newer one, even Dragora, it's horrible. It's ridiculous. Sitting there typing the wrong one, wrong machine. Okay, so yeah, so what I'm doing is I'm getting, you know, it's going to be well, it's Yum Extender, but it's going to work. It's actually going to do all its work through DNF. That's the way they set it up in the interim time there. But let's see, yeah, it opens up, to show updates, but there's not any because it automatically updates. Now what I need is Fedora Media Writer. I think the last time I had to just type Fedora, well, that was in that DNF thing. I bet I could have typed Fedora Media Writer and it'd be the one and only thing in there. But see, you just hit enter to search. You set it up. I did have to learn how to set it up somewhere in the settings. It's not going to matter so much now since it's only available no to repos, but it searches file names, titles, summary, descriptions, everything, instead of just one or the other. That is the most ridiculous, aggravating thing I've ever seen them change a program to, from, something that logically worked really well to something that when I'm trying to find an app, I have to keep search, switch to description, search, switch to summary, search, switch to file name until I'm sure that don't have a good search term in there. With this, it search them all in one hit, and plus you have to click the little button instead of hitting enter. On every program, if you want to execute, you hit enter. That's the way it's been since day one. So, what's wrong with you people? It wasn't broke. You shouldn't have fixed it. I know, and it's free software, and I'm bitching about it. Well, thank you anyway. I know I got a bad attitude because I got malware. I'm sorry. Okay, so top level astronomy. Okay. Fedora Live USB Creator. No, that's not the one I want. That's the old one. I want Fedora Media Writer. So pay attention to that. In this case, in Fedora 23, both of them are available. Fedora Live USB Creator wouldn't write it right. It would be fine for, I don't know where the breaking point is between the way they changed it, but they changed the way the live USBs were built. And let me see if there's any other, like, different versions in there or anything. Like Qt5 for Windows multimedia component. I just caught my eye. Oh, software developing. Rebuilds Fedora packages from scratch. I always find cool stuff when I look in here randomly. I used to just install everything I thought was cool, and then it either didn't work or I didn't know how to use it, or anyway, or fill up your system. Revisor, that's still in there. Revisor, I used to use it, and the last time I saw it work was a Fedora 11. It was a graphic user interface to build your own spin of Fedora, and so I built a copy of my Fedora 11 system. Of course, it's too old to really use. I don't even have it installed on anything. I kind of thought it'd be fun to put it on my easy to boot stick, just to boot it up and look at it once in a while. Of course, it's like 3 gigabytes. So I never could use it because until now, I didn't have anything big enough to hold it. I couldn't even I think it would boot live. I'm not sure. It's really for installing. Actually, it's just an installer. No, it doesn't have a live setup. Yeah. Okay, so that revisor, I keep hoping they'll fix it and it'll work again, but it's been years. And it'll let you happily work away, and then when you try to build your deal, it just doesn't work. And it was hard to get it to work back when the days when it did work. So I'm going to install, shut up, get back to my work. Now, see, this is the other reason why I don't get anything done. I'm just so tired now from all this. I'm just loopy, and I just can't stay on track. Okay, so I just want to make sure I'm still working over here. I'll go ahead and click install or apply at the bottom right. But I was trying to look at my preview, but it takes that little laptop a while to reload and everything. So, okay, yes, because I know you can't read none of this now. Okay, now it's asking me sometimes, and like the other day, I noticed I forgot to. Like I said, as you can see, well, no, you couldn't see it. Okay, Media Writer, it's only 2.7 megabytes. I've got around 10 gigabytes of space left on this home partition of this system, so I have to pay attention to that. Of course, normally I don't put anything on it. Once in a while, I think I want something. I put way more on here than I ever. I thought I might, since it's a server and it's running all the time, I thought, well, I might just pop on it and use it for this or that or the other, but it's just too, it's not powerful enough to really handle running much of anything. So mostly what I do want to do is look at something on a web browser, and that's the one thing it can't do very well. So it's set there on the update. So I guess that's just how it works. It doesn't. The older ones used to like Apper. It used to still show it, and then you could see that it was green and it was installed. But it actually says apply. Well, it's just blank, and all the buttons look like you could still click on them. But it should be in there. Before I shut it, I'll look. Yep, at the very top. So I'm going to open it while I've got that search up, and I'll close Yum Extender. Okay, now this is actually, as long as it works right in this system, I wanted to show this. That I really tried hard to figure out a way to do it in the last several days. Let's see. I think I'm going to want it like that so that I can see. It's kind of, well, it uses up some resources. The mouse is kind of acting funny. I guess I'll make the window smaller because sometimes that actually makes them not use too many resources. Okay, so I don't want the workstation because that's Genome 3. I don't want that. I don't need the server right now. Later, custom image. The other day I just forgot because that's how you used to have to do it. Download the image, or you didn't have to, but that's just the default. That's the way I learned to do it. There's apps that will download them for you, but I actually just usually already had the image anyway. But anyway, I went through all that earlier with the other machine not working right. So you got to click on those three dots. Okay, now I really do need to open it up so I can see what the heck's going on here. Now you've got your choices of your Fedora spins, and it really does act weird. I don't know why it's using so many. It's like using video memory or something. It's really slow. Mate, okay, Fedora Mate Compiz Desktop. That's the one I want. Let's see if I can roll down. I want to see what else is in here before I won't roll down. Either that, it's not responding. There, I grabbed the bar and it went on down. And labs, that's another section of remixes, spins, astronomy, design suite, games, robotics, scientific, and security lab. Those are pretty interesting, but I learned over the years that I can use the group install. I've already got some scripts made now from what you use the group list, and then I just save the output as a text and then turn it into a script and just install, of course, the things I want. But I can actually edit it and change what it installs anytime I want to, so it works out pretty good. Now it doesn't want to go back up. Oh, it did, and I didn't realize it. Okay, so what I want is Mate Compiz Desktop. And since it seems to actually be a lot more sluggish in full screen, I don't know if it really is or if it's just me. It really is. It's like making it full screen makes it, I don't know why. Okay, so I clicked on, see, now you can't see it all. I can't see it all. Okay, there's a screenshot. Fedora Mate Compiz, Fedora 28, 64-bit. If you need a 32-bit, you have to go. I think you can do it with this. You have to look through there, but you might have to download it. It's 1.8 gigabyte, and of course, I already know I've been using Mate ever since Genome 3 came out. I grew up on Genome 2, and I still like that user interface. So Mate saved the day, and it's basically Genome. It's a fork of Genome 2. And everything, it's real mature now, and it works really well. So, really don't, feel any difference. So, it says create a live USB. Now, I already have my USB plugged in there. And I know there's only one USB plugged in, so I don't have to worry about. If you have a USB backup drive, you got to be really careful. You don't, well, actually, yeah, this is going to format, so it would format it and you'd lose all your backups. You darn sure don't want to pick your hard drive or the machine you're on either, so be very, very careful. This one is actually a little more tricky, but they'd make it easy that anybody could do it, but it actually makes it hard sometimes to make sure you're on the right spot. But this says SanDisk cruiser pattern. Well, it didn't say USB 2. It says it's getting the name off of the chips or something in it. You know, that's what it is. It's a SanDisk, and it's not really responding well. But oh, there we go. Let's see. Click. I have to wait. It's slow. Okay. Well, it's actually the same thing twice. It looks like. But anyway. Okay. Write the image immediately. No. Okay. Actually, I think it's doing it. And I didn't click on write to disk, but did I see that the bar? Oh, it's downloading it. That's what it's doing. Okay, so it hasn't got to that point to be able to write it yet. I'm going to make that smaller again. I think it makes it easier on the system. Can't close it. I guess I'll put it back up there so I don't forget. Close. I think a lot of times when I have two windows open, I'll close the other one. Now that should just be downloading, and normally I would, go look in the downloads folder, but I don't need to open. I can't open up another program on this one. But it's going to go to the SanDisk cruiser pattern. That arrow, I guess that arrow doesn't do anything. Quit messing with it. Now once it's downloading really fast, it's already 1.5 gigabyte left, and it's 1.8, so that's pretty fast. So you don't have to go and do what I'm used to doing, downloading it manually from the website. You can just let this application do it. Oh, and I just realized that screen is so washed out you don't see nothing over there. So while it's downloading, it's one good thing about looking at your preview and having it up. Is it? Oh, it's not playing right now. Let's see. Get it playing, just the preview itself, and then I'll go back to my. I can't do it on this machine. Well, actually, I wouldn't want to, I don't think. Well, I guess I could, but anyway, I'm going to go and try to make that show up better. Oh, it's not as washed out as I thought. I don't think I can make it any better than that after all. It's just whatever. Whatever screen it was on. Of course, you can't read it anyway, but I hate that. I just can't stop talking about it, how bad that is. But I should go over there and look at that machine and see if it's doing all right while this is downloading. I can actually, no, I can't see the blue bar. Okay, so I'll leave it. Let's see. Well, yeah, I'll switch over to the desktop. You don't have to watch that download in a blurry screen. All right, ClamScan has stopped using any CPU now. It's only using 548 megabyte of RAM. Well, I should say it's 535 megabyte of RAM. There we go. I always forget that that's not megabytes. It says K right at the end. Okay, this is normal for OBS, so that's good. I don't think there's there's not a, you do get the, results, but you don't get. Let's see if I can, there we go. Let's see. I'll go ahead and organize it to the way that I'm going to want it in the first place. Okay. See, heuristics, broken executable, those, well, you really have to kind of judge by where they are. I'm going to sort it by problem found so that whenever it gets on down there. If Linux system files will show up as broken executables, and if it was a Windows file, you'd most likely be an infected file. But all these Windows files that are in the Windows system, and see, I'm scanning the whole thing, and I'm under root privileges, so I could delete those. But you do that, and you'll break your system. So you have to only, tell it to only report. Don't ever tell it to automatically delete anything. I don't even know if it'll do that, but I don't think it will. But you don't want it to pop up and ask you every time either. It would never, the scan would never get through, unless you're right there watching it. But it says 5 viruses / problems found. So there are viruses or problems, possible problems if you read the, like the instructions about it all. So, of course, however long it takes, I'll let it scan, and then when it gets to the end, if there's anything that says a virus or a Trojan or anything like that, then I probably will delete that. I don't expect to find any. If it was in my system folders, then I would know that I was infected then. The last time I scanned it, I'm having trouble remembering. I know I did the home directory. I think what I did is I did the home directory and then turned around and did the whole thing. I did the whole thing, I think. Oh, I started doing the whole thing and the backup drive was plugged in. I stopped it. That's right. Because it was going to, I didn't know how long it was going to take. And then I did it again, the whole thing. Okay. And so it's probably the only thing that would be new in there is if that add-on had caused more things to be downloaded, you know, even though it's gone. That's what I'm concerned about. So that's why I wanted to do it again. And like I always say, second, third, fourth, fifth, 10th opinion is really what if you really want to save a system. You don't want to reformat it. You just want to try and save it. With Windows, there's enough virus scanners. You can just keep scanning until you get the 0. If you got one, then there's probably another scanner will probably find 3 more. So you got to keep going. And the last time I did it, it was 10 times. And by that time, I was like, you know what? How do I even know there's not other things hiding in there that those scanners couldn't see that are new enough, you know? So I didn't trust it to really use it. Okay, it's ready to write to disk. It's on the SanDisk Cruiser pattern, which I renamed to USB 2. It'll go back to, actually, it'll say Fedora 28 is what it'll say when, I think that's what that'll be the name it'll have, the label it will have once I do it. Okay, so you just got to make really, really sure, and I'm on desktop. That's a good thing I had my little preview running. That's why I'm scared to do all that switching. I like to get in a place and stay there while I'm I thought, okay, I'll show the desktop, and I was kind of worried about doing it because I was afraid I'd forget, and I did. But luckily, I did. You really for me, unless you got the sharpest mind in the world. For one person to do this and do all this switching and everything between your video and your work and your KVM switch and all that junk, you need to have the preview up all the time. So, yeah, if I'm going to be doing any switching, I kind of sometimes will let that preview keep playing. That's what alerted me. Okay, so now you can see what I'm talking about, at least the blurry basics. So it's in the middle there. Well, my mouse is moving around. I guess you can see that. I don't see it in the preview, but oh yeah, because it's delayed. SanDisk Cruiser pattern is what's showing up. That I know that's right because that's the name of my drive. It says 2 gigabytes. Now, if for some reason it was seeing that U3 system, that's 64 megabytes. That's that hidden partition with some portable Windows apps that they thought everybody would want that you can delete. If you wouldn't want to try to write to that, it's not big enough, and it wouldn't let you anyway. So usually that doesn't show up. I have seen it in some apps show up as you could choose it. So anyway, that's right. I'm not writing to my hard drive. I don't have any other drives plugged in. So the red button says write to disk. So I'm going to do it. All right. Now it's writing to the disk. Now, and I'm going to have to put in my root password. Authentication is required. Now, it gets confusing if you have Ubuntu or anything like that because it might be asking for your regular username. And it's not in Fedora. It's asking for your root password. Oh, what happened? Yeah, I was talking in it, and I didn't do it fast enough. All right. Well, I hope it'll let me type it. I think I got it. Okay. This is, of course, one of the longest and hardest passwords I have because it's hard for me to type. Because it's my server, and I want to try to make sure it can't be guessed by a brute force attack or something like that, or just guessed, So, but when you if you got to type a password, or whatever, all the time, like I hardly ever type this password. Then, of course, the more I typed it, I have been times when I was doing something where I typed it a lot and I kind of got used to it. But anyway, so it's writing it, and hopefully everything will go well. And in this, when you do it like this, you could check the image before you wrote it for to see that it's a good image. I think this program checks it. I'm actually not sure now that I think about it. Because when I was trying to do it on that other machine with a messed up hard drive, the image that it downloaded actually ended up being corrupted. So if I'd have just wrote it, tried to boot to it, I'd have got an upsetting disappointment there. So yeah, you could go again on this slow, low-powered machine. I can't go opening up more programs, but it's going to be in the downloads folder, or on the. It might be in the home. It should go to your downloads folder, but if not, it might be. It's not on the desktop. We can see that. It might be in your home directory. Actually, on this system, if it was, it would show up on the desktop. Sure would. They went back to giving you a real desktop folder in Fedora 27. I know. 26 too, maybe. So I'm really glad about that. I know 27 did. No, 28 should be. Hopefully they didn't change it back because I hated that. Everything that didn't have a dot in front of it that was in your home directory would show up on your desktop. It was just aggravating as all get out. So yeah, this seems to be working really well. And I went ahead and I was going to rewrite that Fedora 27, but I thought, well, what if it doesn't work and I need something to boot to because I have so many messed up systems? So I thought, okay, I'm going to leave that thing around a little longer. What I was saying earlier was with the Bane or any of the other distros, most of all of them I've ever used, all you need is you can just write and rewrite, just delete all the files and write a new one on there. Just leave it FAT32. There's not any partitioning or any of that stuff involved. So you can just keep changing it without having to go through this extra. I mean, it is longer to do this than it is to just. I don't just copy. You can't just copy the files over because it has to put in a bootloader and stuff. So I usually use UNet booting, or I used to use the old. I saw it when I was searching the. Sometimes I would. Well, I usually not for Fedora. Years ago, you could use UNet booting for Fedora, or I would use one of these multi-boot. There's other ones like Yummy and Sardu that I used to use all the time. Now my favorite, actually I really like this Fedora Media Writer. Of course, it's only going to do, you don't want to use a really big stick anyway because, or SD drive, because it'd be all the extra space would be wasted. So these 2 gigabytes are just fine unless they make it bigger than 2 gigabytes, then I would be in trouble. I wouldn't want to use my 32 gigabyte SD card. The machine sees it as a USB, so it works. But I wouldn't want to use my 32 gigabyte just for Fedora installer like this because then all that space would be wasted. And I like to keep it. It's my rescue system, and I like to just leave it as it is. And I can take that SD card out of the USB adapter. It's a micro USB. It'll fit in a phone. That's what I originally bought it for. But since I got all these adapters with it, I ended up with I bought 3 264 gigabytes and Strontium brands, and I really like them because they came with a regular full-size SD card adapter and a USB adapter. I didn't know USB adapters were available. I had never bought any micro SD cards before. I'd only ever bought one SD card before that anyway, the regular size for my Raspberry Pi. And it was crash-tastic. I forgot what was the one that came from them, from their, came with Noobs, Raspberry Pi's Noobs Debian system already on it. And I bought, it was just as cheap as buying a card, so I went ahead and bought it. Or I think it came with, maybe it came with my Raspberry Pi when I bought it or something. I don't remember. But anyway, I think that's what happened. So this 32 gig, then I had bought 2 32 gigabyte SD cards, and all 3 of those others are in the phones, but this one, it's not. It doesn't have a phone to be in, and so I just use it in either USB adapter, or I can put it in the SD card adapter, and it'd be full size, and I can put it in. If I want to, I can put it. I've done it before. Put it in a laptop. that has an SD card and boot to it, But so I can boot to a lot of different things that way. I suppose that, well, no, I don't think you could boot a Raspberry Pi because it's got a Addon, no, not Addon processor. It's like a mobile phone processor. Anyway, maybe it is Addon now. I can't even remember. ARM, not Addon. ARM processor. I think the Addon processors are for Windows devices. But anyway, ARM processor, ARM. And yeah, I don't think that easy to boot. There's anything on it that would boot on an ARM. You can get Fedora for ARM. You can get all kinds. Debian was the original one they put on Raspberry Pi. So anyway, and I think I haven't even been using it. I made it into a media center, and I had it in the living room for my mom to use for 2 years. But then it is only 12 megabyte of RAM and like 750 megahertz processor, and it got to where it couldn't run XBMC anymore. After the updates, I guess I better hurry up and I don't know why it's asking me that again. I messed it up. Yep. I just mistyped it. I don't understand what it was doing, but it asked me. You have to be fast. Can't fool around. Can't be jabbering. I guess, I don't know why it's asking me twice during that process. Unless I didn't double click on that right to disk or anything, I don't think. I don't remember doing that. I've used it before several times. I don't remember it. Well, I don't remember it. Well, the thing is, I don't know why it's asking me to retype the root password again. Maybe I just forgot. But normally you type it once into a program and it keeps it until it's finished with its work. But it asked for it, and I've used it before and it's always worked, so I just went ahead and gave it to it again. And this is on a clean machine. It's not infected or anything. I never purposely didn't, mostly because the machine was, so low on resources. I didn't want, but I just got AdBlock Plus on there, and that actually helps the browser not use as much resources. But if you have several add-ons, each add-on uses a little bit of resources on its own, so to do its job. And of course, there are also you got to pay attention even with add-ons that aren't a malware like this add-on browser.com one. There still might be sending more of your personal information around back and forth and tracking what you're doing than you want. You really have to watch out for. Mostly, it's always been. I've never had to worry about anything but the browsers. An add-on writer's reputation, like for tracking and stuff before, not malware. So I can't ever stop bitching about that. Addonbrowser.com and the safe web with VirusTotal add-on is the add-on, and it really was hard for me to connect that website that kept popping up with the name of the add-on until once I saw it in the code. I was saying that earlier. I realized, well, it's actually listed in the description too. But the thing that made it hard is because it's not addonbrowser.com or something, it's not. I'm sorry, it is addonbrowser.com. It's not safeweb with virustotal.com or .org or anything. So I ended up having to go through what I was doing is going through every single one of my add-ons and actually looking at the code and then using my browser's, find function, and I found it. I'm not good at just reading through things. I'll miss what I'm trying to find, And so that's how come I missed it. Now, what I wonder, though, is if they used to have a different website and they changed it. Because, when the add-on gets updated, will it update the information in the description? So know. As far as the first time I noticed some problems of weird things opening up, weird tabs that I didn't know where they were coming from. Because all the rest of every add-on I've ever had for all these years, the website, if the website itself doesn't say the name of the add-on, then it at least has the name of the add-on all over the place. Addonbrowser.com does not even have, I've never seen, when it's popping all its animated ads and all the crap it's got on there, it's kind of like a slideshow of stuff that they want you to try to get you to download, and then there's text links all over it. Never seen Safe Web with VirusTotal in there, period. So that's what made it so hard to figure out where it was even coming from. So I think that was part of their trick. They don't want you to know which add-on to uninstall. They want it to, you just, like I actually did it. I searched around, I couldn't find it. I got tired of messing with it. I thought, well, it's just ads and it's aggravating, but I don't think it's dangerous. Except for, I guess I kind of let myself forget, because when I saw that Amazon page open up, I thought, now that looks like somebody's trying to steal your passwords. Actually, I think I decided it wasn't connected to an add-on. I don't even remember what I decided. The first time I saw that was months ago. But then when I saw it again the other day on Mom's machine, I was like, oh, yeah. So the two things that is real clinchers is the fake Firefox update and opening up an Amazon page. Now, if you'd been infected and you said, oh, that looks interesting, I think I'll look at that, then you're logging in. You're giving them your password to Amazon. And if you installed that fake Firefox update, it would be installing a malware add-on that would evidently do. I've read, it's known about it. It's been around under different names for years, since about 2015 at least, I think. And anything from key logging to, anything from targeting lots and lots of ads, giving you more pop-ups, more crap to try to get you to buy stuff, to key logging, stealing passwords, stealing your money, breaking your bank, everything. So I can't go on enough about it. Just how bad it is, how potentially bad it could have even been for a Linux system, and how bad it is that it's still in the Firefox add-ons. Yeah, I haven't went and I think the thing is that probably all those people that reviewed, they didn't, and I can't look right now either. I guess I could get off of this page, but it's almost done now, or off of this machine. I'm kind of thinking, well, this is the one, I want to get this one thing done, But blank. Yeah, I need to. I imagine those people that wrote the review saying it's malware. They probably didn't go and try to probably even know that you could do it. Or actually, I'm not sure if you can. You used to could do it, I think. Go and say report. A button that says report this add-on as having malicious, software or whatever. I still haven't remembered to go back and look again. I've been going in circles myself. So yeah, I got to look at that. Kind of debated about whether or not when I do it, do I need to be on a clean machine? Okay. Well, because if I was on the machine that it happened on, that would give me direct access to anything I need to know to show them where it's at, even if it's just the name of the web. Well, I know addonbrowser.com. I've got that cemented in my head. I'll probably have a hard time forgetting it when I don't want to forget it. Okay, now it's checking the written data. That's what it's doing now. But why I guess, like I said, I know it makes, I think it's 3 partitions, a really small fat 32, I guess, for part of the bootloader or something, and then it has ext4 partition that has, I thought it was the boot partition, and then it had, I think, an LVM for the rest of the system, for the live Fedora systems now. That's how they do it. So I guess they made it in 2 separate sections, right in those partitions and everything. And this drive, and what you'll have to do, like if you decide to use it for any other purpose besides this one Fedora distro, you're going to have to reformat your USB stick to, well, FAT32 is the best thing to use for most everything else. Finished. Okay, and it was really weird because it says finished, but it's open blank, you know, where the blue progress line was, so you think, like when it's happened before, I didn't read the word finish, and I thought, okay, now what's it doing? Nothing's happening. And it just says blue closed. You see that? The close is lit up in blue. I could see that. But right in the middle, it's a little word that says finished. And so normally most things would like show full green progress bar or something, or full blue progress bar or something. So threw me off almost every time except for this one. Okay, so close. Now, I'm done. We're done with Fedora Media Writer, and since it kind of works the machine hard, close it. Let me see what's going on with this machine. I may have to reboot it so that it's not too tired to do its work, do its serving. I guess I should, if I'm going to do it, I ought to do it now. I could boot it. I couldn't. Well, no, I don't want my server offline. I started to say I could boot it to the new system because it's already plugged in, but I don't think I could run it. Oh, it can. This is a 32-bit machine. Okay, so Sysguard's the thing that's only thing doing a lot of hard work right now. It'll do that and then it'll settle down, but it really, on a system like this with only, I think, what's it got, 2 gig of RAM and single core processor, I wouldn't leave Sysguard running because it's still using too much. I'm going to shut it down. I just wanted to see if anything was like overworking it. Now, I am going to go ahead and open up Crusader and look at the files on here and everything, see what we got, see how much space I got left, and I won't delete that downloaded file, I don't think, because see, the next time I won't have to wait for the download. If I needed to burn it again, then oh, my preview's not so happy. I guess I've let it play too long. Anyway, yeah, I went into downloads. Fedora Mate Compiz Live x8664-28-1.1. That's which version I got. Firefox 60.1. I downloaded it. Oh yeah, I installed it, but I don't need it anymore because now we're 60.2. It didn't default. I hit. Oh, okay. What happened here? I got confused about what I'm hitting. Okay, it did delete it. I was using the keyboard to delete that Firefox. Yeah, 9.8 gigabytes still left on there. So I'll be fine. Firefox. Oh yeah, that's where I set my Firefox up in standalone version here recently. I was just using the installed version, but I went ahead and did that the other day. Well, when I had all this trouble on my machine, I wanted a new browser to be able to do things with. Okay, so now it says Fedora Mate. I was expecting my preview to be playing, but it's not playing over there. Thought I reloaded it. Should be maybe if you reload it with it paused, does it stay paused? I thought it started playing. Yeah, it does. Okay. Maybe I didn't ever get it reloaded. Okay, so I know I'm always distracted by that, but otherwise I will completely be talking to you about something that I'm showing something else. Fedora Mate Live 28-1-1. Okay, and so I'm not gonna just unplug it. In Linux, it can really easily cause problems it can actually jack up your USB stick. So, oh, it's not mounted. Instead of saying unmount it, it says mount it. Okay, what about U3 system? It says mount it. So even though it's showing there, it's saying it's not mounted. So I'm just going to unplug it. Normally you have to right click and unmount or safely remove or whatever. Let me get it out of there. Okay, and some versions, actually, what is it? Well, I think it's some of the older versions of Fedora. You're better off just unplugging it Didn't used to be, but now it's happened recently. I think it's my Fedora 14 system. Try to unmount it, it hangs things up. So you got to learn your system. Windows, it's really better, even though people constantly do it. It's really better to unmount them first. Say, click on the little icon on the desktop and say safely remove. Now, I need to boot it on something. Okay, it won't boot on that laptop. I mean, I could boot it on my machine that I'm going to do first, my machine, but let me switch off of this machine now. You're not seeing a thing. I'm trying to decide what to do here. Let me look and see how hard it's working. Okay, clam scan is making it work hard again, but it's okay. I think what's going to end up happening. Yeah, now we've got some heuristics encrypted zip. Let me go ahead and do the desktop. I'm back on the clam scan looking at it. So that was where I was. Where I always put it the last one that I've seen, so I kind of know whether or not there's new ones. So all those so far are all just system stuff, and they're not actually broken. They just look broken to the virus scanner because it's actually looking for broken Windows type files. You know, that's the only way I can explain it. They're not broken. They're part of the system, and they work fine. You know, it took me a while to figure all that out and realize that they weren't broken. Yeah. Okay. This is some more system stuff, and these are encrypted. They're not broken. They're encrypted. But there'll be a long list of broken heuristics. That's a heuristic scan. You know, they think this heuristic scan thinks it's a broken executable. And then this is a part of the heuristic scan too, encrypted zip. And you know, by default, I don't think the heuristic scan is turned on. But if you don't turn it on, then you won't get any heuristics. There are lots of heuristic malware out there, so that use heuristics. I used to know how to explain what that was, or I used to kind of have it in my head what it was, but now I can't remember. But so far nothing. Of course, it's still in this. It's just in user share right now. So as it gets on through the system, when it gets to my home directory, then I'll bet there'll be some at least in the Firefox cache and stuff. Well, no, I deleted them, so there may not. There may not be any. If there's nothing else in there, I'll feel a lot better. Not good enough to leave the system as it is. Well, it needs. I've been meaning to reformat it and update it for a long time anyway. So this has gotten me to doing it right now. And I'll have a lot more space because I'm not putting it's actually set up as a dual boot with half XP and half Fedora 23. It's just going to be all Fedora 28. And if I really want to dual boot this system, there is you can put one more drive in it. This thing is it's got a laptop style power supply. You know, it's not a powerful one. I know there is a PCI slot, but there's not even a video card slot. It wouldn't have enough power to run one. And there used to be PCI video cards, but I looked around and thought about getting one since this thing only has 256 megabytes of onboard memory. But because you could get biggest ones I think that I ever saw were 512 megabytes, and they were just too expensive. They weren't worth it. So and they were they're old now, so the price went up. They used to be about 25, 35 bucks. Now they're more 45, I don't know, 45, 55, even more. So I'm not going to do that. So, and I don't know that it could handle it. But another hard drive, it would probably handle it, I think. And so if I wanted, I could, I actually have more hard drives now. So I could put one in there and make it one hard drive for Windows 7. That's what it used to have on it when I got it, Still have the license that I could use, and then one for Fedora 28. But then usually when I want to use Windows, I don't want to reboot my main system, so I don't like doing that anymore. I used to think it was really the way to go. I didn't have extra machines a long time ago. But I noticed real quick that I did not like rebooting to get into another system, no matter which one I was in. Well, generally I wanted to stay in Linux and not mess with Windows. But okay, so I want to test the stick. I thought I would test the stick. Now let's see, this laptop that I'm previewing everything with, can't use it because it is 32-bit. the Dell 1525. I've got it sitting there, and I can put it in it. It's 64-bit. I can put it in it. Oops. I think maybe that's what I'm going to do. Guess I'll do it right now. Okay, I better switch to my wireless mic then. Let's go to the desktop so I can see that. Make sure my switching looks good. Oh yeah, and we've got them both. Okay, now we've only got one. Okay, let's go back to me and turn on the sound. Let's see. I still got my preview playing, so it's helping actually making this process up. Okay, I gotta wait till the. I still got my preview playing. Okay, yeah. Okay, so I want to make sure my wireless mic was working as expected. Now, I've got to okay switch to the other camera, and then turn it. I think I'm going to have to zoom out. So, well, let's. I was going to open up the web browser, but I can see my preview. So, and see, there's my preview of that. You know what? If that works without me having to zoom out, no, it won't. Okay, so what I think I'll do is, well, let's just leave it like that. And then once I zoom out enough, I'll be able to, well, I'll just point it down a little more, because I think that zoom is exactly what I'm going to want. I guess I can get up now. I'm going to have to take a break here in a little bit. So, well, I want to do that before I take a break. Let's see if I can. Okay, that's going to be too low, I think. Yeah. Okay, there's the Dell 1525. And I think that's my long stick that I used to swap things around. There we go. Power. I guess for the, well, it's got a keyboard on it, but it has some missing keys. I think I will shove this back around out of my way. USB stick. Let's see. Oh, okay. I don't know where to put my thing. It's got to be all the way around there. There we go. Now, I do have an Ethernet cable. Wi-Fi would, well, I don't know. A lot of times Wi-Fi doesn't work until you install drivers and stuff on these live systems. So it might not. That's one thing I've had a problem with. I never ever really had that kind of problem, but that Fedora, the ASRock motherboard, it has a gigabit Ethernet, wired Ethernet. And it worked on the older Fedora 26. I might have had to find the driver and download it. I can't really remember, like outside of the repos, but it doesn't work. And I ended up putting a regular 100 megabit card in there to get it Ethernet working. Not only that, but it causes the kernel to crash. I tried it again today. I have it disabled, but I enabled it, the onboard Ethernet. Can't seem to find this one here. The clip's broke, so I have to be real careful with it. It's actually the one I always have in this laptop. I usually have it over here, where the silver one is. But so I'm going to plug this USB in. I think I'll plug it in. No, I don't know which side I want it at. I think over here with all this stuff would be better. Yeah, that way I know there's junk sticking out on that side. Don't bang into that side. All right, now Yeah, okay. Now, let's get that. I think it's going to be about as close as I can get to the screen. Of course, it's a weird angle, but okay, I'll leave it there. That's good enough. All right, now I can, you know, even after it's booted up, if I really want that other keyboard, I can plug it in. I may want a mouse, but I actually have a wired mouse I can plug in. Okay, let's see what Fedora 28 is going to look like. Then I'll probably take a break. I may even, okay, when it boots up, yeah, it starts on test this media, but I'm not going to run the test. Usually they work. If it don't, then I'll run test this media. So I use the arrows on the keyboard to bring it up to the top and just boot to that media. I always see some buffer in and out errors, and then usually it's okay after that. And the Fedora, see this is Debian on here. It'll probably mount that too, but Fedora will mount Fedora partitions, so you'd have all your Fedora partitions mounted in, and you can use it to recover. If you need to recover a Fedora system, like if it's broken, but you have your files on there, if the file system is broken, but you can usually boot it up and it'll just mount. Now this is broken really bad. You can mount your files, it'll mount your file systems automatically, and you can recover your files, you know. And that's always good. So, I don't know what time it is now, 8:24. I'm getting a little bit hungry, so what I'm thinking is, let's see what it's doing. All those little red stars, you probably can't see that there's red stars. Those are errors. I don't know why it wouldn't run on here. Okay, it's getting by them though. Now it's booting. There's still I/O errors here and there. I don't know. I think one of the things is they always throw I/O errors on the USB DVD drives because they're looking for media and there's nothing in them. I think is what happens. Sometimes you're going to, some systems, any Linux distro, it'll boot on one and not on the other, even though it's the right architecture and everything. So you just have, that's why I wanted to hurry up and try it. Of course, this isn't the machine I'm putting it on, but and I wouldn't, because Fedora is now, you need some more resources than a dual core with 3 gig of RAM can give out. So it's not enough. So, I mean, it'll run, but it's so slow you can't do nothing with it. So, log in. Let's see. Job is running login service. So and so. Error. Start job is running for whole boot process. Sometimes they try things again. It tries things again, and it works. You know, it fixes whatever the problem was too during them, especially on these live systems. And sometimes on the live systems, you'll have errors that you won't get once you do your first update. Like I was hoping would happen whenever I installed Fedora 27 on the ASRock with the 8-core, but I think it might be that 8-core processor from what I read online that's causing that strange thing with the... I have not been able to get that onboard gigabit Ethernet to work. It's usually Wi-Fi that you have trouble with, like on laptops, that you have to find a driver for and everything. But once I get 28 on there, I'll try again one more and see if... I forgot, and then I saw something. There's actually some commands you can run to tell you exactly the chip. They're usually Broadcom. Actually, I think I found out it was a Broadcom chip. No, it's not, and that's what's odd about it. Exactly what the chips are. I'm talking about the ASRock right now. And then you can go look for the drivers, because I think I went to their sites several times and couldn't find any drivers to download, except for Windows, of course. And but a lot of times, if you know the chip, the model of the chip, like 8139 is a really popular one in a PCI card. You search for Broadcom 8139 in the Fedora repos, and you'll find the drivers for them. So if I need to do that, I was just meaning to do that. I kept forgetting to do it, but now that it's messed up, you know, I'll do it once I get 28 on there. Sure, it's taking a long time to boot up. Don't know. Let's see. Started login service. Started Light Display Manager. Oh, it's using Light Display Manager instead of. I think they call it Light DM instead of well, X11 or whatever that they used to use. There's been another one in between X11. I don't know. It may not work on here. Maybe that test this media might have been a good idea, huh? Let's see. DCare, KMS helper error, connection, S video flipped. Oh, it sees the S video adapter. It has an S video output on it, super VHS. Maybe that's hanging it up. That's old tech now, you know. It's not even HDMI is what everything has now. HDMI and maybe DVI. Actually, they kind of for a while everything was having DVI. This one has a DVI. No, it has HDMI. It has HDMI and S video, I believe. Yeah, it does have this video because I used it. Yeah, out there. I used to use it to go to my TV and watch. This is what I used to use this thing for. Just every night, watch TV, watch video, you know, web video on the TV. There we go. I think it's going to log in. Yep, it made it. So see, you got to wait and be patient. Okay, so how do I want to do this? I think I'll grab this mouse that's in here. Where is it? Plug that wired mouse in because really all I need is a mouse. And if I unplug my wireless from my other laptop, then I won't be able to just grab the mouse and, you know, check things and all that. So, like right now, yeah, see, I can see that my audio, I'm just playing. I'm letting it play so that I'll know that I'm working. And anyway, but I turn off the audio. Okay, so let's see what applications we got. It's probably going to be about the same as usual. Compiz. That's what makes the effect, Compiz Fusion on the video effects. It got just some basic stuff was on Fedora 27. It's kind of nice looking, not too much, so I just left it like it was. Graphics, LibreOffice, Draw, Mate, Color, Simple Scan, FileZilla for FTP, Firefox, HexChat, Thunderbird. Oh, it's already got Thunderbird on there. Oh, they quit with that stupid. I mean, I'm sure it's a great app. I've just started with Thunderbird back in my Windows days, and I love it. Still use Thunderbird. But that other one was the one they always put on there. I didn't even notice that. They actually have Thunderbird and the icons up there ready for you to. I don't want to. Of course, I don't want to set it up now. LibreOffice, the whole suite's on there. Excel is a music player, I think. Parole media player. I didn't used to like that, but on Fedora 27 it was there and it was working pretty good. It actually played some things that, when I got out of that I thought the desktop had crashed, but it tried to. A problem occurred. Would you like to report the issue? No, not right now. Are those locked? Yeah, those are locked, so you got to right click and unlock them so you can move them the way you want them. And then right click and select move, and then you can move them. Left click on the move. And I don't, of course that's all I got. I don't have any oh, this is live. This is not installed. What are you doing? This is all going away. Everything I'm doing. All I really wanted, I kept thinking, well, open up Firefox. Just to see that everything's working and everything. So it'll run on a dual core Intel, 2 gigahertz Intel dual core with 3 gig RAM, just fine, running good. But I think if I gave it a lot to do, that might be a different thing. Although right now it's pretty good.
If it would run good on here, I'd put this on here instead of the Bang because I like the way everything in Fedora works better. But I would imagine as soon as I kind of got a couple things open, it would. Fedora on Raspberry Pi 3 B plus. I don't have, mine's a Raspberry Pi B, I think. Raspberry, I guess they'd call it a Raspberry Pi 2 now. But seems to be working fine. Fedora 28 available now. So I guess it's pretty new then. Well, that was May 1st, last month. Maybe that's when it came out. Maybe it came out, I thought it was going to come out till June this year. Maybe it just not came out. I haven't been paying enough attention. Get the workstation, get the server. I keep thinking I can put stuff in the... I keep forgetting I don't need to do anything that you expect to stay because it ain't staying. Okay. What's new in Fedora? Okay. Good deal. Now what if I open up... I don't think going to any more pages. There's all the links. Whenever I put it in the bookmarks toolbar, so it automatically added the bookmarks toolbar. So if I open up the system monitor, it has Mate System Monitor, and it's good, but it uses a lot of resources on its own. So CPU with the Firefox and the system monitor, it's not bad for. It might not be using as many resources as 27. That would be nice. Then I could use it again on all my machines. Of course, it kind of did me the same way. I actually installed it, and then once I got it on there and started working in it, it wasn't hefty enough, you know. This machine wasn't. But 6% and 10% just sitting here like this. 1 gigabyte of 2.9 gigabyte memory just sitting here like this. File system, of course that's live, it doesn't really mean anything. And then there's the, I hate in this one how it doesn't automatically spread it out where you can read it. You can drag it over, but it's hard to do. And every time you close the app, it'll go right back. Just drives me crazy. Can't even read all the words, much less the information in each one, you know. But memory, okay, yeah, Firefox to be expected. CPU, system monitor, 18%. Firefox is not even showing it on the registry right now. So Firefox is only using 306.9 megabyte right now. The system is for release 28, 64-bit, kernel 4.16.3.301, so and so. Mate 1.20.1, memory 2.9 gigabytes, Intel Core 2 Duo, CPU T5750, 2 gigahertz. Available disk space 655 megabyte in that live system. Okay, now when I close that, that'll be the end of it. Okay, well let's open up File Manager, just see what happens. Now let's see if it seems like it's working. No, it's good. But you really do have to do some work. You can sit there and just, you know, if you're not really doing anything, you won't know until you do that. Okay, so runs okay. I like that. My boot stick is good. I will install this, or if I could always put it on here and try it for a little bit, and then and if it works good, I'd leave it. And install the hard drive, you know, that's what I'll be using. And but then I'm planning on doing, unless something happens to change my mind, I'm going to do my system first, because I can just get it basically set up, and if I run into an app I need or something, then, well, actually, I'll run my install script on it, and it'll be pretty well ready to go. And then Mom's, I don't want to run my install scripts on it because it'll give her hundreds of apps that she doesn't need. Hers is the one that's going to take me so long because I have to kind of, I don't have a, and her old system, well, her old system's too old. At least so far I haven't, I've got an idea of how maybe I could, there's so many apps from Fedora 14 that aren't even available anymore. But actually, her old system had a lot. I custom did it. I mean, I sat there and just did it. It took about 2 months to set it up, day by day, adding, apps as I saw them that I thought she might like. And she ended up only using, Firefox, Thunderbird, the file manager, and pretty much that's it. And I had her 100, 200 apps that I thought she might use on there, So there's no point in, but there's important apps to be able for me to get on there and maintain the system that I can't remember until I need them. I will just search. If I can't remember the name of the app, I'll search for what it is I'm trying to do, with the desktop, the app search, and then they'll pop up and I'll go, oh yeah, I like that app, or whatever. So that if they're not on there, it takes me forever to find them. So I would prefer to use an install script and install everything, including the kitchen sink, and then it's there. But if she wants to go over here and look for something, she can't find it because there's too much stuff in here, and I understand that. So try not to put too much on here, on hers. All right, I'm going to shut this one down. Let's see, he doesn't have a button. I put a button up there, that's how you do it, right click and then add to panel. But right here, you've got log out if you just want to log out and shut down for shut it down. So we've got a good USB stick. So now that's ready for me to use, and let that go ahead and shut down. And I guess what I'm going to do is take a break. I'm going to even eat supper, and probably by the time I eat supper, that will make me tired. Well, it is 8:30. It's almost 9 o'clock, so there's probably no sense in me starting any more jobs, any more work. Okay, there it goes. So, where's my lid? Okay, good. Fedora. I usually use red for the bane because their color scheme's kind of red. But I don't think I have. Wait. I do have an orange one. I'm running low on my really fine point. Wait, there's a green one that's really fine. I keep thinking I have to get back to the mic because I pulled it out here. Let's put it back until I was fixing to switch to that mic, but I don't have to just yet. Okay, Fedora 28. See if you can see it. It's almost. I think most of my markers are getting too old and dry to hardly work anymore. It's not writing very good. Not good at all. Maybe if I shake it a little bit. I always store them, with the point down so that the ink will not run up in the other end. There we go. Helps some. I guess I really need some. I erased what was on there. Oh, now it's coming out. It comes out for like one letter and then it quits. Oh, now it made it to, I can't, made it so that I can't see it. Okay, that's enough of the trying to write with the green. You can still see a red 9 from the Bane 9. I don't think I can write. Oh yeah, I think I'm gonna try it. Yeah, if you're careful, you can kind of write with the big. This one's got a fairly small tip, but it's not very good for. Looks red though, not orange. Well, probably I won't remember anyway. Actually, what I have done in the past is when they get smudged when you touch them, and you can't read them, and so like I would use red for Debian and blue for Fedora. But one side is orange, and my finger is really green now. Oh shoot, got it all over me. Anyway, Fedora 28. It's all over me. I don't know if I can wipe it in, but usually that doesn't wipe off very good. I can probably get it off with some alcohol, or that glasses cleaner might get it off, but it also it cracks my skin. It makes it crack really fast. So. We'll see. I just don't want it rubbing off on my mouse and everything. I think I better try to get it off my fingers, because I know what happens. You think it won't come off, and then when you touch things, it does. I think alcohol might have been better. Yeah, it's not really doing too much to it. I'm gonna go over here and grab my alcohol and see if it will do it. Just regular old rubbing alcohol may do it. Let's see. It'll dry your skin, but it's really better on your skin than I think it's working like a charm. Yeah, that works. So Mark Slot, not Mark Slot, but what do you call him? Sharpie. Sharpie will come off from regular rubbing alcohol with regular rubbing alcohol. I knew there was something that would take it off. I don't like having that on me. If you don't do that, it'll just, when you wash your hands, you get some of it off, but the rest will stay. There we go. I think that marker, well, I shook it so hard. I don't know why why was it all over me? I don't know where I touched it. I must have, yeah, I got that tip to leaking. I wasn't holding it by the tip, though. I don't know what I did, but I did something to make a mess. Yeah, so I picked it up again. Well, it doesn't look like, I don't want to throw it away. I guess I should. You know what? I think this has happened to me before with one of them. That must have been the one. I don't throw stuff away till it's really like nothing left to use it for. I save pens and use the cases for stuff. But you know, when it's going to get all over you like that and make a mess every time you touch it, I'll throw it away. Okay, so how about that? I threw something away. You just don't understand. That's a milestone. No, I'm not going to get it back out. I covered it up. You can't see it. It's out of sight. It's not out of mind yet, but it's out of sight. What? Oh, holy crap. Let's see. Now I don't know which end was the glasses cleaner and which one was the alcohol. But it's on my monitor. When I was slinging it, it's on my monitor. It's on my pillow that I put behind my head all the time. I'm glad I threw it away. All right, so let's get some alcohol on here. But I saw it was big, and I can even see that it's green. Big green spot on my monitor. Boy, did I mess up or what? Let's see. Wonder if I can turn that where you can see that. I don't think you'll be able to see it, but I can sure see it. Oops. There. Yeah. Actually, I think it might be in more than one place. It is. This is alcohol because it cleaned my fingers so good. I don't really like. Actually, you know, I'd be more scared to put. I'm turning around and use the other side. Let's see. I don't want to rub it, put it back on my fingers because I'll fold it. Now I'm going to wipe the whole thing. I'd be less worried about using alcohol on a plastic, you know, widescreen monitor than I would. There's another spot of it. It does wipe it right off. I got it all over it. It's probably all over this room. My pillow, I think it will just smear. And I guess if I got off my preview, it might not look as... That's already all over the place. I don't see another clean spot to wipe with. There we go. Well, I really just kind of wanted to... Well, now my monitor's disinfected, but the whole thing needed cleaning. It's still on there in another spot. Depends on what color. I can't believe I did that. So don't shake the heck out of your Sharpie trying to get more out of it. All you're going to do is, yeah, you'll get more out of it all right. All over the world. It's on my keyboard. I was shaking it down towards the floor, I thought. You know, so that, I don't know. Well, I guess because I knew that there, in the back of my mind, I knew there was a possibility of something like that happening. I don't know if there's a good... Yeah, that that window with the system monitor, it's all white, and yeah, it does show up. There's more spots. You know, they tell you not to use any cleaner like glass cleaner on these plastic screens. You'll ruin them. There we go, another spot. So I only generally just wipe it with, you know, paper towel very lightly, because if you scrub hard on it with a paper towel, it can scratch it. And then you'll be, have you ever scrubbed plastic sunglasses or whatever with something? You'll end up with, okay, I think I got it clean now. Oh, it's still doing the virus scan, okay. Now, I think I better fold this again. Oh wait, let's use the other end first. But it's all over my keyboard too. But I'm gonna have to get, okay, I'll get my KVM switch over to something else, something that's not running. Yeah, number one is not running. That's on Mom's machine. So now I can rub my keyboard without mashing keys. I mean, I can mash keys without doing anything. That's what I'm trying to say. Golly, I can't believe it. So don't shake your Sharpie. Don't do what I did. Do what I say. I'm telling you, you don't want to do this. I'm sure my keyboard could use some disinfecting. I mean, that stuff went everywhere. There's going to be all kinds of places where I'm not seeing it, and it's there. It's on my tray, on my keyboard tray. It's probably on my pants, which were clean. I put them on today. Well, I washed clothes today. Okay. I've used like 3 or 4 paper towels already. And I generally try to get all the use I can out of them. Okay, let's see. It's probably on that black. Oh, I forgot that one was on. I hit the, what did I do? Yeah, hit the, I didn't know you could do that. That's pretty handy. You can hit the, even when you're, see, normally I hit the space bar when you're playing a video. You can hit it to pause and start it again. Well, on my preview of my live stream,
see, normally I hit
on the Domain 8 anyway, it mutes and unmutes the audio. Okay, so I'll turn off the keyboard. Let's see. There we go, because it's wireless and it can be turned off. It's kind of nice about these wireless keyboards. They can be, you know, the mouse and the keyboard can be turned on and off, and they share one USB dongle, transmitter, receiver, so they don't, you know, use up 2 USB spaces. I think a lot. No, I don't know. I guess maybe they did never used to, but anyway, I don't know. We have 2 of them now, and they're both like that. Both of them are Logitech, and they're 2 different models. I like this one. It has a normal keyboard layout. The other one my mom uses, she loves it, but it has the weirdest keyboard layout you've ever seen. I can't hardly type on it to save my life, because I use keyboard shortcuts, and they're not in the right place. Like, well, the arrows up and down, left and right are in the wrong place. I use end and home all the time. They're not in the right place. Okay. Now, do I want to... I guess I should just... Okay, you've seen enough of my fiasco, I guess. Let's see. I'm going to get over there on the... Get over there on the machine so I can shut down my stream. There we go. Okay. I guess I'll switch back to the SM58. That way it'll be the way I normally leave it. We'll do a check on the, let's see. We'll do a check on the, and listen to my thing, make sure everything's like it should be. Okay. The virus scan. Okay. Now that I know that, I can just mute and unmute that audio really quick. I hope I can remember that. Okay. Because it's not pausing the video, it's still playing. And in a day like today, when I was switching around a lot, that preview playing all the time actually saved me. It hasn't found anything else. It's down to user shared doc. It's going pretty fast through those files. I don't know how big they are, it's how long it takes. But this will probably, hopefully it'll finish before I go to bed so I can shut the machine down. Otherwise I'll have to go to bed with it running. But at least it's, that Lenovo i5, I've actually left it running overnight a couple of times lately because of all this kind of stuff, and it doesn't bother me. It's not loud. It doesn't heat the room up. So I can stand that. These other machines, these big old desktops that make a lot of heat, a lot of times I will never scan them or do all kinds of things, render videos with them like I could be doing, you know. Like if I was editing a video, one of the reasons why I just got to where I can't stand to edit videos, because it takes 6 to 8 hours to edit a video, and then it'll take 2 to 5 hours to render the video, you know. And that's right here in the room with me. Of course, even when I'm not working on it, it's still making noise, still making heat. Summer or winter, it's always a problem. So can't hardly stand to have any of these desktops running at night when I'm in bed. They wake me up. Even if there's, you know, like I say, a certain time of the year when it's not too hot for me. All right, so what am I doing? There. Okay, so green splatters everywhere. I'm sure it's on my shirt. I'm sure it's on my pants. I'm not going to worry about that. I do see it on my little pillow, and I'd like to get it off, but I'm pretty sure that the only thing that's going to happen is it's going to smear everywhere. What I need to do is soak it in alcohol and wash it. It does unzip and come off, and I washed clothes today. I've gotten it off and washed it a few times. I don't do it very often. It's really hard to get that thing in and out of there. And that darn foam rubber, it's all little broken pieces that go everywhere. It makes a mess. So don't do it in the house. And I always forget when I do it. I do it right here, sitting in this chair. Don't do that. Okay, so I don't know. I'm really kind of want to scrub one of those and see if I can get it off, but I'm probably be very sorry. Little dots look a lot better than big smears. So no, don't rub it, Don.
Don't do it. Don't. Okay? Don't. I know. I've learned. I've done it before. Okay, yeah. Remember that. Okay, so okay, I actually accomplished something. I'm actually feeling happier because I accomplished at least one thing in those long steps of getting all this mess straightened out. Got me a brand new. Now I have a Fedora 27 bootable stick and Fedora 28. So the Fedora 27 was really just, I left it like that as a failsafe. And if I want to put Debian on it, I can. I can reformat it. But and if I want to scan anything with Bitdefender, well, mostly I know I can scan my backup drive again with it. I'd rather scan it with something different though. That was what I was thinking. I probably will end up doing that. I mean, I could, like, once I get my machine reformatted. Let's see. I got to think of the steps to make it safe because, you don't want malware on the backup drive that, if it's possible, in Windows it is possible. With Linux it hasn't been, I've never had it happen yet. But if this is the one that can, then I don't want the backup drive plugged into my new system until it's been scanned, at least 3 times. I don't know that I can find 3 things that can. Well, that's NTFS. So I can scan it with pretty much all the rescue systems. I have to. Well, I can plug it into. Actually, the old 6000 laptop did it. It took 16 hours, and so maybe if I use the Dell, it's got dual core and 3 gig of RAM. It should do it faster. Plug it into that. Of course, it rattles and makes noise. At least that. Actually, when it gets hot, it'll shut down. It might not do it. Some reason maybe because the fan doesn't work. It is rattling, so it's probably not moving enough air. This one doesn't make noise, and the fan does get loud enough I can hear it. I can't see what I'm pointing at, the Dell 6000. But it ran for 16 hours without locking up. 2 gig of RAM, 1.6 gigahertz, single core. But it scanned that whole drive with Bitdefender now. Well, the other ones I think are used less. The ones I have, I'm going to have to get some more. Put them out. If I could put them on that, if I put them on that SD card and they'll boot, I know my new Fedoras and Debians wouldn't boot, and I still don't know. But I might have to rebuild that thing. I might have to do it now during all this. But that takes a Windows. Well, I've been doing that kind of work in my XP virtual machine. I may see. I'll need to scan it at some point. Well, it's the backup of it's been scanned, but I don't know. As big as that is, it's like 6 or 8 gigabyte file now. I don't know if it would get scanned. It might get skipped because it's so big. There's a certain size limit that virus scanners will scan. So I might have to. Well, I have Avast and Malwarebytes in it. Well, no, I have Avast in it. I could scan it with Avast. Of course, Avast will miss stuff, especially if you're scanning the system. It'll find more if you do a boot time scan. Oh, I guess I could do that even in a virtual machine. I could do a boot time scan with Avast. You can just tell it to do that. And if it comes up with anything whatsoever, then I'll have to try to go from there. But if it comes up with nothing, then it'll probably be all right. I don't have Malwarebytes on it because, well, I know I don't on the old Fedora 14 because it couldn't handle it. It could barely run it. I could have Malwarebytes. I think I did. I had it on there and took it off because I couldn't get it to quit running in the background all the time, and it was just too much, to have all of that running in a virtual machine. On this machine, I kind of always dreamed of having that, like an 8-core with like 16 or 32 gigabyte of RAM, and then I could do anything I want, but I haven't got to do that yet. I can't believe I built Mom an 8-core before me, but that's how it turned out. Well, I got my sites off of a regular desktop. I want a server with 2, like if you have 2 4-cores and processors, or if you have 2 8-cores, wouldn't that be awesome? I mean, because the older servers are too old, for enterprise, but they're people like me could afford them. The only thing is they make lots of noise. So that's the only reason I haven't really done it. You can get servers for, well, you can get them with. It depends. It really, you have to shop and shop. I'm talking about used servers, of course. But anyway, if I could get even like 2 quad cores, 8 cores, Actually, the way they do it, you probably end up with at least 16 actual cores to use, even if you have two cores. If I remember, I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at them. But I've been watching a lot of videos from this really cool guy named Morton that's a server admin guy over in Denmark, I think it is. He has a bunch in his house. He has a whole server room he set up, and he teaches, and and he plays with them, and he lets you see what he's doing. Anyway, and the number one reason why I never did it, even back in the early 2000s, is because they had like, I don't remember what they had back then, but even right now, the most you'll usually see video memory is 32 megabytes, and you can even watch videos like that unless you. I mean, you could send all your video, let the RAM do the video work in virtual machines, but anyway, it's still not going to be as good as a real video card. Anyway, some servers are actually manufactured in the last 10 years that you can put a video card in them. And he also figured out how to put them in some of the machines that weren't originally meant for that because of the way they were built. You can buy some add-on cards to make it work. And so anyway, if you had a real video card, I don't even need any. Well, 2 gigabytes is what I'd like to have. That'd be plenty for me. And then I don't need anything expensive. And then 1 would be fine. I don't even have anything with 1 gigabyte. 512 is the most I've got, megabytes. and then if I had 16 gig of RAM or 32 or 64, it'd be so awesome. Then I could run Windows, Linux. I could run Fedora, Debian, and Windows easily in one server. And I could play, a lot of the things I'd like to play with, but I don't because of all the heat and noise and all that. You just do it on that server, but I couldn't have that server in this room. That's why I haven't done it. I thought about, some people build a quiet box for them, like insulated box and put them in there. But you got to get that heat out, you'd have to ventilate it somehow. So I haven't felt like building a project like that. So if I can figure out, if everything comes around to where I can do it, then that's where I'd rather go. It costs about half as much money to use servers that would have built an 8-core, Mom's system, I think I've spent probably about $250 on upgrading hers, but I already had the motherboard. So count $50 for that about 3 or 4 years ago on top of that. But I had planned all along to be able to upgrade it. So when her power supply went out, so I bought and it had a 450 watt, which should have been fine. It shouldn't have went out, but it did after several years. And she doesn't run it all. Like sometimes she wouldn't run it once every couple of months, so it shouldn't have went out. Wasn't being overworked. But anyway, I got a 650 watt power supply because I knew that would be ample for what she had, the dual core AMD, and now it's just fine for that 8-core. And I've got that ASRock has automatic overclocking, and it doesn't. I don't think it might have pumped it up a couple of marks, it's all a couple of. I think it's running at what is it? It's 8,300. I think it might be running it a little over flat 8,300. It'll go up. It could be run up to 85 or somewhere around 8,500. If you had the power supply, the cooling, everything you need, and a better the one thing about these motherboards, they don't have coolers on the VRMs, the voltage regulator modules, and they'll overheat. So I wouldn't want to doesn't need it. I mean, not for her. I'm not a gamer, and so she certainly isn't. If you were or a video, like I would be doing video rendering maybe sometimes, that would be where you might want to overclock one. But those servers can do. That's what he was doing. He makes videos. He actually makes real. I've seen him professional movie shorts. Is what he's been doing. He has some friends. They have a little company they made to make movies over there. But they do them. Well, they do some in their language and they do some in English. But they're really good. Anyway, he was making a video rendering for him. That's what he was doing. And he has that set up. And they use it all. But he uses it for YouTube videos too. So on and on. This scan, yeah, I'm really getting pretty tired. Well, I've kind of worked hard today, running around washing clothes and trying to work on the computers is in between, So no new things. I'm looking at this virus scan, no new threats or anything. So yeah, I guess I hate to think that I'm done for the night, but I really am. So let that run. I mean, I'm not really done because I have to follow up on my virus scan, but of course I'm not going to sit there and make a movie of watching a virus scan. I'm bored enough as it is. So I'll eat supper, let that run. Hopefully it'll finish, and I'll have to. I guess it doesn't really matter, but I always feel better if it's done and I know what the results were before I go to bed. Then I'm not thinking about it, as I go to sleep. Well, I'm still thinking about it, but at least I know I'm not wondering as I go to sleep. So either way, it's either going to run while I'm sleeping or it'll be done. And I'm going to eat, get a bath, go to bed, and then by tomorrow, I should know. If it seems to be. I think that's as cleaned up as I'm gonna get it, unless I could run Bitdefender on here. But I don't think Bitdefender can mount my LVMs. I could try it once and see, but I don't think it can. I wouldn't mind that if I could run ClamAV and Bitdefender. That might be enough for me to feel like it was clean enough for me to back it up one more time and then reformat it. You just plug my USB backup drive in there and let it do its normal backups, and then kind of go through and manually look through everything with Crusader and triple check, that everything's backed up before I erase it all. All right, that's my plan, and I probably won't stick to it. All right, this done, and finally getting a little bit going here. Okay. I'll be back tomorrow most likely, unless something comes up like it did the last 2 days where I couldn't. Okay, bye-bye.